Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Etc. And today we have another Etc. Space Program tutorial. And today we are building the Sputnik rocket for two very specific reasons. One, because I think it's pretty hilarious to first off build the SLS, the newest rocket in development, and then build the oldest rocket, first one to get into low Earth orbit. So I think it's semi-ironic there, and if you haven't seen the SLS video, go watch it now. And second of all, because it is the anniversary of the Sputnik probe re-entering and landing back here on Earth, originally in 1958. So a long time ago. If I do the math, that's like 82 years ago. See, I'm massive brain. So yeah, little history behind the Sputnik rocket, which I highly doubt if you're watching this tutorial you need to know, but a little bit of a refresher. The Sputnik rocket was one of the first rockets ever created, built by the Soviet Union USSR during the height of the space race, as this rocket kind of kicked it off. It launched the Sputnik probe right behind me there, into low Earth orbit, being the first man-made object to be sent to space. And this was kind of a big deal, as, you know, the Cold War was raging, and the US, America, had a little bit of a heart attack. Could either be from all the cholesterol from the burgers or the fact that their greatest nemesis just sent something into space and could be a major threat. So, yeah, that's basically the story behind the Sputnik rocket. The probe, of course, is very extremely basic, as it was the first satellite ever, and stayed in orbit for only a few months, only transmitting radio signals and nothing even important, back down to Earth. It was kind of the precursor for everything yet to come. It was very much so the precursor to the Soyuz rocket and other similar rockets, as future Soviet rockets share very similar designs, as you may see in tutorials in the future. But the history lesson is out of the way. Time for the actual Minecrafting and the tutorial, and probably some science thrown in there as well. But that's why you're watching this, I hope. Hopefully. So let's get into the tutorial, shall we? So, first we start off here with the engines. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. First off, let's show the Sputnik probe, which most of you might be here for. I don't exactly know. But it is extremely simple. It is literally just basically a ball of polished andesite blocks. Any really gray object works, but I chose the polished andesite because it kind of looks shiny-ish. Because the Sputnik satellite is basically just a shiny ball. That's about it, with antennae coming up. So it's just a polished andesite block with blocks on all sides, and then iron bars in the corners going down 3 blocks. So very simple, as it was a very simple piece of technology at the time. So now that we have the actual Sputnik satellite out of the way, we can now move on to the actual rocket. And it's probably why you guys are all here. It's kind of in the title and whatnot. So, first off, we start here with the boosters / engines. And I used anvils here, which is kind of a wee bit of an odd choice, you may think. But I think they look quite good, as they are much smaller engines on the Sputnik rocket. They are very generic engines as well, and there are 4 engines on each liquid fuel tank. And I used the anvils here instead of just normal blocks, because normal blocks make this thing way too big, and I didn't want it to look massive and like similar in height to the SLS here. And same thing with the engines, because these are massive Mastodon engines, while the Stage 1 Sputnik engines are quite tiny. So instead, we used anvils here. But, nevertheless, why don't we get onto the build and let me start explaining myself. So here, I'm just going to pick a central block, so I know where I'm going. And from this central block, place an anvil with one block from it on each side. So boom, 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 boom. And then you can remove that central block. And then here, for each booster, it's just the anvils in a plus sign / semicircular shape. So boom, 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 boom. So just like so. And then next up, place light gray concrete on top of the anvils. Make sure you're holding shift and space at the same time when you're building it, because otherwise something like that will happen where you will open up the anvil menu, and you don't exactly want to do that. You're not repairing the rocket. I don't know. That was a stupid joke. But alas, after that, fill or put on top 2 high lime terracotta on top. And I must mention that not much is actually known about the Sputnik rocket itself, as the rocket was highly classified, and not a single picture, I don't think, was taken of the actual Sputnik rocket itself when launching. So, because, you know, space race, espionage, technology, Cold War stuff. And, Papa Stalin didn't really want, his burger-eating nemesis, to figure out how to launch a tiny little piece of metal with 4 legs, into low Earth orbit. So, the rocket was heavily classified, and not many pictures exist of the rocket itself, nowadays. So, it was quite difficult to find an actual picture of the rocket, but I found something quite close. And yes, it was actually green, similar to the the rest of the USSR rockets later down the line, such as the Soyuz, which still exists today, and was recently launched by France from French Guiana only a few days ago. But here, we're extending, I feel like I've said 1,000 times, I'm sorry, out 1 extra block from the side here, making sure it all connects. And then next, a ring of black concrete on top of all of it. So, boom, 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 just like so. And then next up, the main stage, the main booster. It's just the same ring up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Well, it's just 10 blocks up. So, because it's just the same thing repeated over and over again, and you probably don't want more of the boring science lecture, I am just going to speed it up. So, just go! Alrighty, so now we have our main first stage done for the Sputnik rocket. And that is kind of also the majority of the rocket. This is not a big rocket. But next up, here we fill in the middle with the what's it called? Second stage. I mean, there's only really 2 stages, but whatever. It's kind of just an extension of the first stage fuel tank, but it's also at the same time, half a decoupler. This black concrete signals the decoupler for the tiny itty bitty rocket, or did I just say rocket? thruster that gave the little bit of a poof to get the Sputnik satellite, I almost said rocket again, into low Earth orbit. But, here, where we build this up, is quite simple, really. I know I sound like mumbo jumbo, please don't hold me to that. You just kind of fill in the corners, I guess. So, just like so, it's just a square with, 1 block protrusions, and I forget how tall this goes. This goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 blocks, then black concrete, and then 1, 2. So, I guess, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, black concrete, 1, 2, and it's just the same thing around and around, and I won't bother skipping through this because it's quite fast, and I can give you another science lecture, or history lecture, or whatever. But yes, today is the, anniversary of, the Sputnik satellite re-entering Earth, landing back on Earth, and, yeah, so that's why I wanted to get the video out today, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Must say, leave a comment down below for other space-related anything. Probes, rockets, rovers, whatever that you want to see the etc. Space Agency cover next. As a tutorial, of course. But, here, 1 block in, these liquid fuel tanks kind of, come to a wee bit of a point for more aerodynamicism. The words, I'm sorry. And, just go up 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it looks kind of clunky, but with the whole, you know, this part here, it kind of merges with the, like, you know, actual main fuel tank. But, you know, it's Minecraft, it's blocks, what do you expect? And you can't do super detail on this. Oh, it's actually 3 blocks, never mind. Doesn't matter too much. It's 4 or 3 blocks, whatever looks better. Yeah, it doesn't matter too much, I'm not even gonna change it. But here, this is where the Sputnik, probe was housed. So 1 block in, just make a cross shape, boom, 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 plus shape, and then we get some white concrete. I refuse to, I refuse to actually get the block. I'm going to select the block from the SRB. And, white concrete here, and it goes up 3 blocks, actually 4 blocks, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And we will get some, trap doors. And then, levers. And then slap the trapdoors right there and right there. And back here, put the lever, and then the lever, flick them down, so the trapdoors actually closes. Actually, this was 1 too tall, I'm sorry. It's 3 blocks, but I don't think it has that big of an impact. Oh, no, it is. It's 4 blocks. It doesn't matter, honestly. It's not super to scale. And then in the middle, 1, 2 blocks. Okay, so that is the basis of the whole Sputnik rocket done. But there are some little details that we want to add here and there to make this rocket look a wee bit more realistic and a wee bit more cool. So, here, oh, crap, forgot to get the button. So here around the decoupler, as this rocket was really janky because it was kind of the first of its kind, the upper stage is very janky and looks kind of steampunky. So in the corners here, put andesite stairs, except for this one, because if you saw that one over there, that's where the fuel line goes. And then on the in-between spots, put some boutons. And then finally, the fuel line over here. So from the bottom in the corner here, just bring it all the way up. It really doesn't matter which side this is on, because, you know, it's almost nearly symmetrical. Nearly, except for the trapdoors. And then just bring it all the way up until you reach the corner here. And then just fill it in so it connects. You can do it this way, but it looks too chunky, I guess. So I just have it, like, swivel, turn, whatever. I'm not very good at vocabulary. So that is the fuel line there. I know it is diorite, and diorite is probably the ugliest block in the game, if I do say so myself. I believe Iskal85 would agree with me. But last but not least is the tail fins, and these are quite important as they stabilize the rocket in flight, so it doesn't, you know, tip over and kind of crash and burn. So it is just a piece of light gray concrete, one above the actual light gray concrete line. Piece of light gray concrete, and then andesite stairs on both sides, top and side. And it is on all 4 sides, I believe. I'm not sure if it's 2 or 4, but I'm just doing 4. If you wanted to do 2, it doesn't matter too much. But that is it for the Sputnik rocket of the USSR. Hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial. Hopefully you found it helpful. And leave a comment down below for more space tutorials that you would like to see the etc. space program cover. I know I said this before. Probes, rockets, rovers, whatever. I will just keep on building. More rockets, more probes, whatever I feel up to, whatever I think is cool, whatever's up to date. I built the Sputnik rocket, like I explained in the intro, is the anniversary. But yes, that is it. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye!